Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this episode of Think Business Live with John Vuong. John, we've had a bunch of international people on, but it's nice to have an international show with you in Canada. Welcome today. I appreciate it. John is going to talk to us today, Think Community, on SEO. Their company, their mission is to provide clients the best internet and digital marketing experience through SEO. And I think, John, diving into SEO, I think a lot of times people don't really realize exactly what SEO really is, what it does, how it works. I think, people can't necessarily see it or feel it. They see the results, but it, kind of talk a little bit about like SEO 101 real quickly, because it seems to, be changing all the time, talk to the Think community about SEO 101.
Yeah, definitely. So with SEO, what it really means is search engine optimization. It's helping your website rank in the search results page of search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo. But primarily we focus on Google because that's where majority of the people are searching for information or search queries. And what it is the organic or natural listings. So what we focus on is in the map, there's usually the local 3-pack, and below the map, which is also organic in nature or natural. Of course, at the top of the search results, there's paid listings where Google, that's where they monetize, right? And there's a major difference in terms of quality and user behavior when they click on ads versus organic. So what you want to do is position your website or your business to appear organically or naturally in Google's eyes, because what Google's trying to really focus on is providing you, the user who's searching, the best websites for your given search based on all your search history. Right. And the more they do that, the more stickier you will be to continue going back to Google, because they're the most trusted source of information.
Right. They're really listening to you. But I want to talk about the types of what the user actually gets, because I think one of the things, I'm a business coach, one of the things I find is people say, well, SEO, we can have somebody do it in-house, but we don't know really what it is. And the analytics always are changing. And it's a big investment up front. And so how do we see the return? I feel like those are the things I get, and then I say, well, I usually just then, because I don't specialize in SEO, I refer it out, and then, maybe I'm part of the process, but talk about that. Like, how do you address those issues? Because I think that gets people stuck into, in my opinion, the bigger picture, which is, you got to invest in your company. You got to, create a platform that gets people in the door. And then you got to market yourself to actually get people in that door. And so
that's good.
Yeah, right. So talk a little bit about kind of what the concerns that I hear on the street.
Yeah. So there's a major difference between advertising and then the organic nature, right? Because it's all about positioning yourself as that leader or that authoritative thought leader expert. And that's what Google wants people who are appearing on the first page to be known as, right? That niche specific industry expert for that given search result. So how does a business owner achieve that, right? Yes, you can hire people in-house, but do they have the expertise? Because SEO is not a one-trick pony. You cannot just focus on content and deliver great results. There's so many different pillars and there's so many different facets in order to rank a website. And there's over 200 signals for Google. Us as an agency, we have multiple specialists within our industry that focuses on their expertise, right? So content is one expertise. Conversion copywriting is one expertise. Then there's the technical aspect, right? Compressing your images, graphic design, technical aspects of the development work. And then, of course, there's the link building aspect of amplifying your content pieces or reaching out to guest posts and getting people to know who you are, right? And then, of course, the strategy, because it's all about keyword research, in-depth competitive analysis. There's so many factors that people don't see and they cannot get their head around. So
Right.
as a business owner, there's a big gray area of the web. And this is one of them, which is SEO, because you don't really know and see what's really going on.
Right.
And the only challenge is people want immediate results and they want to see, feel, touch things that's really going on. And that's why they resort to ads, because they can actually see their actual ad appear. And so they feel like whenever I'm paying, I actually see that someone's doing something.
Right.
SEO is more like there's a lot going on in the background, but you don't know what any of these things they're doing is. And if you're not getting results or you're not feeling like you're getting leads, like calls or traction, you feel like you're wasting money.
Right. So let's talk about results for a minute, John. So let's talk about, right, everybody wants results. I think results need to be determined, and then you got to reverse engineer what needs to be done and how, and then you got to figure out how to execute on a consistent basis. And so talk about the process of how to get to the results, the consistency, what needs to be done. Right? I always find, you can't do something like SEO, similarly to business coaching, for, a month, right? It doesn't stick, right? I'm in the business, like you're in the business of consistency. And so what does somebody need to mentally, get in tune with before they even get started?
So I feel SEO is all about alignment with your future plans of your business. If you plan on being in business for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years, SEO is the best way to generate the best quality of leads that will generate the best return on your investment. If you're unsure in terms of if you're going to be around, or if this product is or service is your, business, right? I say play with ads, figure out who your avatar or your ideal customer is. Once you understand that and you've been in business for a couple of years, you have revenue, you know who your ideal customer is. What's that personality look like? What's that avatar look like, right? Then SEO is all about creating all that assets, from websites to social properties to content pieces, to really target and hone down on that ideal customer.
Yeah.
Right? Because your website is pretty much the central place where people are going to check you out, right? And if you have all the information trying to get people to read information on your website and focus on like a lead funnel or some sort of form or a call to action, the type of people that will then reach out is already so far down that buying cycle. All they care about is price. Right? They already vetted you. They already seen all your work, checked out your case studies, reviews, testimonials, and you're ranking yourself, right? So they already know that you are a leader, a niche expert.
Yeah. So let's talk about best way to get quality leads. But I want to back into it by talking about one of the things I find is a lot of times companies, as a coach, don't really know who their ideal customer is and don't have a proper website. And so now we're in kind of COVID world where everybody had to redo their minimum 3-year vision, and their website isn't really up to par. So they have a website that doesn't really showcase them in a proper light with updated content. They don't know who their ideal client is and who they're messaging to, and then they start SEO, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. And so let's back into understanding the ideal client and what a website needs to look like today, which I think, John, is much differently than it needed to look like in February, because we're in a different decade. We're in a different world right now. So just kind of talk on that as far as the fundamentals people need to really make SEO be the best way to qualify to get qualified leads.
Definitely. So all these are very good, valid points, because prior to February, things were operational. You kind of could have projected which keywords you want to go after, what you've been known for, but there's been a shift. The way people are shopping is differently. And then you have to portray it to your kind of people that are continually searching for you online, right? People are more hesitant today than ever to go to a bricks and mortar store. So what are preventative measures that you have in place? What are you performing in terms of your website that's different? How are you presenting it to your active client base or your prospective client base? Is there visuals? Is there video? Is there images, right? Is there constant updates? Because ultimately it's all about pivoting.
Yeah.
And if you're not, even with technology, if you had your website and you haven't updated things in 6 months or a year, you're kind of not doing, the best thing for your business, right? Because people expect it today. Even revamping your website every 2 years is expected because things change, user experience changes, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about aligning yourself with what your customers expect. And one thing I always mention is understanding what content medium do your ideal customers consume. Is it written content? Is it audio content, visual content, image content? That will dictate the platform where you want to start promoting yourself heavily on. And this is only based on understanding who your ideal customer is.
Yeah.
Right. And if you haven't been in business long enough, or you don't have, and what I mean by business is not, a couple clients that pay you a couple dollars. It's all about like running a revenue-based sales profitable business for a couple years that you can then figure out these are my ideal customers because they're going to stick with me for 5-10 years and they're going to refer me customers.
Correct.
Right.
They're brand ambassadors that are referring you business. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I want to go, you made a comment, you update your website every 2 years. I mean, you should be updating your website, in my opinion, every single day, if not minimum, 3 to 5 times a week, with rich content. I know since COVID, I do this podcast now 7 days a week, 5 to soon to be 8 live shows a week, plus everything else on the podcast. New content is daily because that's kind of the rhythm that I think people expect. And so, how do you get someone from 2 years to 2 months to 2 weeks to 2 days?
So my thoughts on that is, if you're an expert, and I deal with a lot of service-based, like the dentists, the lawyers, the plumbers, they're busy. They're doing their expertise. They're great at what they've been doing for 10, 15, 20 years. And what I do is amplify their message so that they become industry leaders, right? You don't have to be doing it on a consistent basis. What I suggest is really focus on quality, in-depth, well-researched information that actually makes you move the needle, right? Because if you have something that is something different, something that actually your customers want to consume, that's when you deliver that piece of information or content piece, as opposed to making an effort to really focus on delivering content on a weekly or daily basis when you're not set out to do that and you have no interest doing it, right? I would say focus on delivering good, substantial, well-researched, quality, in-depth content pieces when you feel it's right.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I still think you need to be a constant flow of content. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Quality is key. So let's talk about you as a business owner, John. So you're moving along, you're growing your business. And COVID hits. How have you adjusted your business through COVID, and how do companies need to adjust their SEO strategy because of COVID?
Yeah, so obviously with COVID, even at my agency, it was all about ensuring my staff was on board with whatever happens, right? And my biggest priority was taking care of my people, which was my staff and my clients, right? So I was very open and transparent. So right off the bat, when everything shut down, I had weekly calls, if not daily calls, with every member of my team, either on an individual basis or a team call, right? To let them know what we're doing, what are the measures, what are we planning on doing? Very similar to all my clients, right? So it's all about being front and center and honest with them on what is expected. And so what I was doing was, with my clients, I was just being as proactive as possible with them. I was setting up webinars. I was letting them in on what I've been doing, like talk to your team, learn how to run online businesses, right? Ensure, like, pivoting away from bricks and mortar to online. This is how I set up my home office. These are some of the software and platforms I use, right? And then constant communication with their active, engaged customers. So do you actively get their email address, or text message them, or whatever it is? Like, own your database so that you can then constantly message them on updates about industry stuff. Like, as your association gives you updates, you need to update your clients, right? And what are the measures you're doing that is more proactive, as opposed to being stagnant and waiting for things to happen? Be proactive every step of the way, right? Yeah. So all these things are very imperative on pivoting on the new way of how you do business. So then comes keyword research, right? The same terms that you were ranking for might not have the same amount of traffic. So always analyzing trends, analyzing what your ideal customers look like, looking at different opportunities, right? Because, for instance, if you're in hospitality industry, things have dramatically changed, right? Like, if you had a restaurant, people are no longer going in terms of dining. You have to really focus on catering or putting together packages to go after those new customers of yours. Yeah. So just being proactive that way.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I just want to kind of highlight, you talked earlier about understanding your database. I think most people don't understand their database, don't have it segmented the proper way, so can't market the way they need to their specific database. So no, those were some great things. All right, John, you ready for the speed round?
Yeah, I think so. I'm ready. Yeah, sure.
All right. One thing people should never forget about SEO.
Keep positioning yourself as the expert. Be genuine, be raw and authentic, but be yourself, because everyone loves uniqueness and they only buy from people they trust.
Yeah, well said. In 2030, SEO
will be around and striving and kicking. And it's all about positioning yourself as niche as possible and become the expert that you want to be known for.
Good. How long does it take to become an overnight expert?
Definitely not days or weeks or months, but years and multiple years.
Yeah, I think I've always heard it takes 3 years of 3 to 5 times a week posting to be an overnight,
Exactly.
Right. Best piece of wisdom you ever received?
From parents, especially my mom, it's all about habits and routine. So when I was growing up, it was chores. It was about doing homework at a set time on a daily basis, on a regular basis for years and years and years. So just getting habits in place. Yeah.
So important. I think habits and routine and non-negotiables are critical to everybody's success. Favorite book and why?
Give and Take, Adam Grant. I've learned, and actually I just read it a couple years ago, but I didn't know that I was a giver until reading it, and it really helped me understand why I do things, right? The more you give, the more you're going to get in return.
Yeah. He wrote another great book called, I think it was Option B, which was a great book. He's talented. And one piece of advice you would give every entrepreneur who just graduated college and is graduating into a different world than they thought?
Go out there, get some real experience from real people. And that might be volunteer. That might be not even getting paid what you're worth, but it's all about getting in and learning from the best. So always job shadow, mentors, like people within an organization that you want to become. Yeah. Always look up to them and really just learn as much as you can from them.
Yeah, I love that, and find mentors. I mean, I'm a big fan. We all need a minimum of 3 mentors, and we need to learn from as many people as we possibly can. John, tell everybody who your ideal clients are and how they can get a hold of you.
My ideal customer is business owners that need to generate more visibility online, but is having a challenges, right? They've probably played with other SEO agencies or played with ads and frustrated because the quality of leads was never there, right? So I really hone down on avatars, personality, and really focus on building great assets starting on your website and other platforms. And then, yeah, you can definitely reach out to me on my website, www.localseosearch.ca. And we really are givers. We really want to help business owners get over that hump. And we're honest. If we can't help you, we'll guide you through different ways to really make a difference, right?
Yeah, it's great. Well, John, I appreciate. I always love talking SEO and everything that that you got to do to reverse engineer SEO to make SEO effective. I also believe it's a great tool to, if done the right way by the right company with the right strategy and the right foundation that a company has, it can be incredibly successful. So I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you very much. And all the best to you. Stay safe and have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the summer and a great rest of the year.
Thank you so much for having me, John. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Think Community. Appreciate you all watching.
Thank you.